everybody? My name is Tyler Russo, and this is the KO Podcast, episode number 8. In this episode, I will be reviewing UFC Long Island, and I will be previewing UFC London. That is going to be an amazing card. Last time they were in London, the crowd was crazy, and the atmosphere was insane, so I cannot wait for UFC London. Also, we have Bellator this week. I will be reviewing Bellator 283. I'm very excited for that card because I will be at the pre- and post-fight interviews via Zoom. So I'm very excited to cover that event this week. Ring that bell. All right, and let's get to this UFC Long Island card. Kicking off the card, we had Jessica Penne taking on Emily Ducote. And Ducote got it done. It was her UFC debut. She obviously is a former Invicta strawweight champ, so she came over from Invicta FC and she got the win in her debut. So congratulations to Emily Ducote on getting her first UFC win in her UFC debut. We move on to Dwight Grant taking on Dustin Stolofs, and Dustin Stolofs got it done by decision. And then we go to the first finish of this card. We had Dustin Jacoby taking on Zong Dae-yeon. And Dustin Jacoby got a massive KO for the victory in this fight. It was a great KO. Dustin Jacoby continues to climb the ladder at light heavyweight. He's definitely going to move up in the rankings after that showing. In the next fight, we had a featherweight matchup between Bill Algeo and Herbert Burns. Algeo gets the finish. It was in the second round, and I believe Herbert Burns, he hasn't fought in about 2 years because he had ACL surgery, and I believe in this fight his knee popped out again. So, there was a point in the fight where the ref stood them both up, and he took like 10-15 seconds to get up. The ref let that one go. Fight continued. Eventually the fight hit the ground, and Burns just took so long to get up that the ref stopped the fight. He was in a lot of pain afterwards, and his younger brother Gilbert Burns carried him out of the stadium. So obviously big props to Gilbert Burns for carrying his own brother out there. I saw a couple pictures, and it was a really touching moment of a brother helping another brother out, and that was a very sad moment. I hope that Herbert Burns comes back from this injury, and I hope he can fight again because a lot of guys don't want to go out like that. He was in a lot of pain. Moving on, we had a really interesting bantamweight matchup between Ricky Simón and Jack Shore. And in the second round, Ricky Simón submits Jack Shore. He takes Jack Shore's 0 from him. And that was an impressive victory by Ricky Simón. I think a lot of people did not think he was going to win this. And he came out and he got the job done by submission. We move on to the next fight. We had Punu Soriano taking on Languambala. And Puna Soriano gets the KO finish. Soriano, he's known for his heavy hands, and he brought them to this fight. He finished the fight 28 seconds into the second round. Very impressive win by Soriano. He gets back on track. I think he was on a 2-fight losing streak, so he gets back on track. And then we move to the main card now. We had Lauren Murphy taking on Miesha Tate. What a statement made by Lauren Murphy. She gets the decision win. She won very clearly. I don't know. Tate just looked a little slow. She looked slow, and Lauren Murphy did a number on Tate's face. I mean, I think Tate had one eye completely shut. So, statement made by Lauren Murphy. She is going to keep her spot in the flyweight rankings. And she had a lot of interesting things to say leading up to this fight. She said that, she was dealing with an illness going into that Valentina Shevchenko title fight. So maybe we didn't see the best Lauren Murphy in that title fight. So if she, she got the big win on this card. If she can maybe get another win, she may be looking at another title shot. And then we move on to a featherweight matchup between Shane Burgos and Charles Jourdain. It was everything that the fans wanted. It was a very competitive fight. Shane Burgos gets the decision victory in his home state of New York. I'm sure it was a very, very exciting moment for him. I think he moves to being undefeated while fighting in New York, so congratulations to Burgos. And then now we move on to a flyweight matchup between Matthew Christopher Schnell and Sue, and this fight was insane. The second round, oh my goodness, everybody was losing their minds from this fight. If you haven't seen the second round of this fight, you need to go watch it. Schnell was hurt multiple times, and then he comes back and gets the submission victory over Sue, and he put him out cold. Sue did not tap, so obviously he was unconscious. Bloody scene. It was a crazy intense fight. If you did not see that second round, please go watch that. You will not be disappointed. We move on to a welterweight matchup between Li Jingliang and Skuloff. And Jingliang gets it done by TKO, or I think it was knockout, really. He landed a flush shot, and his opponent, went to the ground. It was very dazed and confused, and I think the ref stopped it there. But, Jingliang, he is back on the winning track after coming off of an loss, and this was a very impressive victory. I think every finish on this card got a performance bonus. I believe there was like 6 of them, so Dana gave out a lot of money after this card. We move on to a women's strawweight co-main event. Michelle Waterson Gomez taking on Amanda Lemos. In the second round, Amanda Lemos gets the submission victory. It was a little weird because Lemos had the submission locked in. Waterson Gomez tapped, but the ref did not see it. But Lemos immediately let go of the submission, and they both knew it was over, and the ref didn't, and then the ref waved it off once he realized, she tapped. So I just got to give it up to Waterson because she tapped, but the ref didn't see it. She could have easily argued and made a big deal about it, but, they both had their respect for each other to acknowledge that the fight was done. And so big props to both of them. Lemos, she let go of it immediately when she felt the tap. Some people may not have done that because they, wait for the ref to stop it. So, again, I give it up to both of these women because of the honesty really shown by both of them. So, Lemos gets it done by submission. And we move on to the main event. I was so excited for this main event fight. And it was looking like a good fight until a grappling exchange, and Rodriguez tried to put a submission on Ortega. Ortega fights out of it, but dislocates his shoulder. And so the fight was stopped due to injury. It was a TKO victory for Rodriguez. That kind of puts a damper on, the main event and the card because, I just don't think they can give Rodriguez a title shot after this win. He did look good early on. He was, chopping those leg kicks and, was popping that jab out. He was looking really good, but the fight was so early, you don't know what's going to happen, really, in a fight like that. So, disappointing end. I did see on Twitter, I think at the press conference, Dana White, I think he said, an interim featherweight title match between Emmett and Rodriguez interested him, and I agree. I think that's a very interesting fight. I think that's the fight that should be made because, Rodriguez, it seems like when things are set up for him to succeed, just weird things happen. I remember, last episode I talked about Rodriguez and Jeremy Stevens, and that fight was a little wonky, and they had a rematch, a month later because of the incidental eye poke. So Rodriguez has kind of had some bad luck in the spots where he's supposed to, kind of shine. It's not his fault. It's just a lot of weird things kind of happen. So giving him an interim featherweight matchup between Emmett, I think, is a good way to really see who that next contender is in this weight class. And that is going to do it for this card. Now we're moving on and previewing UFC London. All right, and now looking at this UFC London card, we start with the prelims, and I will give you some fights to look out for right away. Third fight into the night, we got a lightweight bout with Jai Herbert and Kyle Nelson. Great mustache by Kyle Nelson, by the way. This fight right here, this is probably going to be a very, very entertaining fight. Jai Herbert always brings it. You know, he's a brawler. So, you know, this will be a very entertaining fight. And then moving on, we have flyweight prospect Muhammad Mokaev taking on Charles Johnson. On social media, there was a little bit of a riff with them. I guess Mokaev posted a picture with a weapon, and Charles Johnson kind of commented on it, and they had a back and forth. So there is some, I don't know, bad blood, but there's some negative buildup to this fight. But Mokaev, obviously, last UFC London card, he fought. It was his UFC debut, and he submitted Cody Duran. But before that, he had a beautiful flying knee to set that submission up. So Mokaev, he is a prospect in the flyweight division to look out for. So definitely do not miss this fight, because this may be a future star in the division. And in the next fight, we got a featherweight matchup between Makwan Americani and Jonathan Pierce. Makwan, Mr. Finland Americani, I should say. That's a great name, by the way. This should be a fun featherweight matchup. Americani is coming off of a first-round submission against Mike Grundy. Again, that was the last time he fought, which was the other UFC London card. Moving on to another featherweight fight. This one should be fun. We have Nathaniel Wood taking on Charles Rosa. Charles Rosa, Boston's own, may I add, Charles Rosa. This guy, he's always in entertaining fights, and, a veteran of the game, really. Moving on, we have a lightweight bout, Mark Diakase between Damir Hansvok. I think I said that right. I apologize if I butchered that, but Mark Diakase, always a fun fighter in the lightweight division. And moving on, this one is a very, very fun fight. It should be a fun fight. We have a lightweight bout between Mason Jones and Ludwig Klein. I think I said that right. I apologize. But Mason Jones, he's this is his third fight in the UFC. I think it's his third fight. But before that, he was in Cage Warriors, and he was their lightweight champ, and then he moved up to welterweight and became a doubles champ. So this guy's got some talent. Mason Jones is a name to watch out for in this lightweight division. He is only 27, so just hitting his fighting prime. So, again, keep an eye out for Jones. We move on to this main card, and we have a very interesting matchup right away. We got a light heavyweight bout between Paul Craig and Volkan Ozdemir. Now, Paul Craig, he's a very interesting fighter. He's got a lot of submissions. You can never count Craig out. And Ozdemir, he's kind of on I think he's on a 2-fight losing streak. He got finished both times. One of those I know is Yuri Prochazka, who's really beating him right now. So that's a very interesting matchup right off the bat. And then we got a women's flyweight matchup. We got Molly Meatball McCann taking on Hannah Goldie. Molly McCann obviously had the spinning back, I think it was a back elbow that got her a huge knockout the last UFC London card. So can McCann get another huge knockout? I don't know, but she is a fan favorite. Let me say that. She had the crowd on her side in her celebration. It was a great moment. She was running all around. She was super excited. Then I think this fight's going a little bit under the radar, but we have light heavyweights again, and we have Nakia Kronlov, and then we have Alexander Gustafsson making his return. The last time we saw Alexander Gustafsson was against Fabricio Verdum in 2020. He lost to Verdum in his heavyweight debut by armbar. It was, we didn't really get to see too much of Gustafsson, but I'm glad he is back at light heavyweight. I think this is the division where he belongs. You know, it would be amazing. It would be amazing if he can pick up this win, because if he wins, this will make the division so much more interesting. You know, if he can get back into his contender spot. Gustafsson, I mean, he had legendary fights with John Jones. You know, he's highly respected in the UFC. So, you know, keep an eye out for Gustafsson, because I'm excited for his return. And then moving on, we got a lightweight bout. We got Paddy the Baddy Pimblett taking on Jordan Levitt. Paddy the Baddy, we all know him. Very entertaining fighter. He had a huge pop by the crowd when he walked out last time at UFC London. Obviously, he's a star in the making, but Jordan Levitt is no slouch. You know, I think he's on a winning streak himself, so this is going to be an interesting fight. I wonder if Paddy Pimblett is going to grapple with Levitt, or if he's going to try to keep it standing. But again, Paddy Pimblett, if he can win this, you know, his star continues to rise. And moving on to the co-main event, there was a change. Jack Hermansson was supposed to take on Darren Till, but unfortunately Darren Till got injured in camp. It's a shame. I was really looking forward to see Darren Till back in action. But the silver lining is we get Chris Curtis stepping in. So the co-main event is now Jack Hermansson against Chris Curtis. Chris Curtis is undefeated in the UFC. This guy is a savvy veteran. He is exciting as hell, and he's got a great personality as well. It took him a while to get to the UFC, but obviously he's undefeated in the UFC. So, you know, this is his time to shine. If he can beat Jack Hermansson I think is number 8 in the middleweight ranking, so he can slide right into that top 10 middleweight rankings. That would be insane for Chris Curtis. Moving on to the heavyweight main event, we have Curtis Razor Blades taking on Tom Aspinall. Curtis Blades obviously had a huge knockout victory at UFC Columbus against Chris Daukaus. I was not expecting him to get that knockout victory. I thought he was going to wrestle some more and get the decision victory over Daukaus, but that was a big, huge knockout that he got, and I definitely think it helped him set this matchup, to set this fight up right here. So this is a big opportunity for Curtis Blades to really claim his stake at heavyweight. And Tom Aspinall, we all know him. He is a fast rising heavyweight prospect. From the first UFC fight, I watched his UFC debut. I knew he was going to be special. This guy is so fast for the heavyweight division. I mean, he took down Volkov pretty easily and submitted him. He made it look easy. So this guy is so talented. He is a fast rising heavyweight prospect. So do not miss this main event. If Tom Aspinall wins against Curtis Blades, you know, I could see a title shot in the future. I think he is a couple fights away from that. But if he continues to win, you know, you can't be denied if you continue to win. So big fight for both of these men. I'm excited to see who comes out on top. And now we move on to Bellator 283. All right, and now looking at the Bellator 283 card, I will give you some prelims to look out for. The prelims are on YouTube, I believe, so anybody can watch this. We have Roman Forlando. He's got 2 crazy finishes by flying knees. So this guy's so entertaining. He's 7-0. So look out for this guy on the prelims. Let's even get another flying knee finish. And of course, we got Kai Kamako III, the man who was our first ever guest on the KO podcast. He is taking on an undefeated Russian fighter, Akhmed Magomedov, I think that's how you say it. So, you know, Kai Kamako III back in action. Really excited to see him as a former guest of this podcast. And then we also have Romeo Cotton. You know, he is definitely a middleweight prospect in Bellator to watch out for. He is currently 6-0. Now we're going to move on to this main card. There was some movement, but I will get to that in a minute. We got heavyweight prospect Devon Franklin He's a fun guy to watch. He is with Jackson Wink, so he's got some great coaches behind him. And let's see if he can keep on moving up. We also have the MMA vet Lorenzo Larkin fighting Makhmed Berlangmov. I think that's how you say it. Berkmakov is 14-0. He is undefeated. I definitely think this is his biggest challenge. Lorenzo Larkin is a vet of the MMA game. He's been fighting since Strikeforce, so you got to give it to him to still be fighting today. You know, the guys who fought in Strikeforce, the guys and girls who fought in Strikeforce, who are still fighting today, they have my utmost respect. It is so hard to have a successful and long career in MMA, so big props to Larkin. Keep an eye out on that fight. Then we got Usman Nurmagomedov taking on Chris Curtis in a lightweight fight. Usman Nurmagomedov is 14-0. I definitely think he's going to be a player in this lightweight division. In keeping with the lightweight division, we got this lightweight co-main event. So Sidney Outlaw was supposed to fight Patricky Pitbull for the Bellator lightweight championship, but unfortunately Patricky Pitbull fell out of the fight with an injury he sustained during camp, I believe. So now Sidney Outlaw is moved to the co-main event. He's taken on Turkov Muskadov. This guy, he is a former Ryzen lightweight champion, so he is no slouch. So Outlaw's got a big task in front of him. I'm very interested to see how Outlaw, if he changed his game plan, because it's from a 5-rounder to a 3-rounder. So again, I will be there via Zoom for the pre-fight interviews and the post-fight interviews. So a lot of content from Bellator 283 is going to come your way this week. And then moving on to the welterweight main event, we have the former Bellator welterweight champ Douglas Lima taking on Jason Jackson. Douglas Lima, he's on I believe 3-fight losing streak, so he's not on the best streak, but he's still a former champ. He's still a legend of MMA. So just because of his success, and you just got to take this guy seriously. And Jason Jackson is a surging welterweight in Bellator right now. He's let me check right now. I believe he is on a 6-fight win streak, I believe. So he's definitely been streaking upwards. And I love Jason Jackson's nickname, the Ass Kicking Machine. That is an amazing name as a mixed martial artist. I love that. And so I'm pretty pumped for this Bellator card, and I'm excited to cover this card as well. And that is going to wrap up the coverage of this Bellator card. All right, and that's going to do it for this episode of the KO Podcast. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to listen to me. If you want to keep up with the podcast, we have an Instagram, the KO_podcast. We have a Twitter, the KO Podcast with Tyler Russo. And make sure to subscribe to the YouTube page, because that's where all the Bellator post-fight and pre-fight interviews will be. Very excited again to cover that. And I hope you all have a safe and blessed day. Bye-bye.